And then, yeah, we can just hop right into it. We'll go ahead and first thing we're going to do here is take a look at our team compositions, because team comp dictates your play style, and you're always going to be playing different with different team comps, so it's always good to get a grasp on what you're working with. So on Zarya, we can be thinking of two main things. Who are we going to be looking for as our primary bubble target, and who are we going to be looking to combo with Grav? Okay. Now, primary bubble target a lot of the times just can be your other tank, but we can also think of some like kind of honorary mentions or like other people that can add in. There's not too many. We can maybe go for a tracer if we'd like to once in a while, but probably not going to. But an example in a different case would be like if we're with like a Genji, so we know that bubbling a Genji when he goes for a blade is gonna be very useful. So we can think about who are going to be good bubble targets, and that way we kind of are pre-thinking ahead. It's going to be easier to get those bubbles off if we're thinking ahead to it. And then second thing I'm looking at is the fact that we can combo our grab very easily with pulse bomb. So we probably want to be communicating that to our tracer. Otherwise, that's just not going to happen if our tracer is not paying attention to our grab. We're missing out on a big combo that can very easily secure some kills. Okay, on the enemy team, and then besides that, it looks like our comp is looking almost like a hybrid comp. We're not really running anything in particular. We're running a little bit of spam with a little bit of brawl as well, like with Zarya being brawl, Junkrat can be brawl, Anna's brawl, but then we also have a bunch of spam kind of aspects to our composition. Like a lot of our characters can be played as spam, so we're going to be looking to play a little bit slow. On the enemy team, it looks like they're running a divey comp here. Right? They're on dive tanks, Mercy's dive, and then Widow and Soldier are going to be a little bit more spam, but they can also work very well with dive.
I think they switch off of this dive.
Mhm.
I think they switch off this dive. I feel like Orisa ends up getting played a lot in this game.
Okay. And good bubble on your hog when you saw you was taking damage.
Check out this gun.
Okay, so we survive the first fight, we win it. Right now we're just looking to get to high energy. Kind of the number one thing in our minds right now. Don't be afraid to use bubbles when we know that we're just kind of in the poke phase here, as you will most likely get those back before the fight starts, right? If we just hit this stagger on the monkey, even if they do come in, it's not going to be a good push, right? They're not going to have everyone on their team with them. So we can probably get away with using a round of bubbles right now in the next couple of seconds, because by the time the fight starts up again in another 10-15 seconds, we'll have those bubbles back again, right? So this spam that Orisa's doing, we can try to eat up. Maybe we can bubble like Junkrat if he's trying to go aggro, or Hog when he pushes up there. Right, that way we're just charging a little bit of our, getting a lot of our energy up, right? And when we have higher energy, we're going to be doing a lot more. Okay, good bubble.
Get in there. This will heal you.
Alright, so
Leg has been revived.
few different things here. First off, we're playing very incredibly passive. We're almost exclusively just going for right clicks, and we're never really engaging on anything. And the reason why this just might not be as good is because of the fact that, like, even though staying alive is always going to be a good thing, if we're not actually actively doing anything, we're never going to get any value, especially as a tank, where as a tank we need to be the ones making space for other people. If we're constantly just kind of kiting and backing up, then we're not going to be able to do that. So we're going to go over a few different, or two different things in particular. First off here, make sure we're looking for a little bit more value with our bubbles. Now, your bubbles as Zarya are probably the biggest thing you need to worry about on Zarya, because her bubbles are what allow you to do everything. Okay, when you get good bubbles, that is your tanking ability as Zarya. You're able to protect people. So really the only way you are tanking as Zarya is by using your bubbles effectively for tanking. But then you also have to worry about getting energies from them. When you don't have high energy, which we haven't been high energy all game yet, it's been 2 minutes in. When you're not high energy, you're not doing any damage. When you're not doing any damage, you're gonna be getting less kills. And when you're when you're putting out less damage and kills, and when you have less damage as well, you don't get as much ult charge. And when when you're not getting as much ult charge, you're not getting as much kills. That means that you are going to be losing more fights and in turn more games. So bubbles very, very heavily impact your value on Zarya. So we really, really need to make sure that we're getting good value out of our bubbles, that we're using them a little bit more often. I think right now we're being a little we're holding on to them a little bit too much, and we're not really using them as often as we should be. Bubbles preferably should be used pretty much off of cooldown, but you have to be careful with the way I say that, because I don't mean that you should be sacrificing quality. Right? We want to keep up quality and quantity to where we're getting out bubbles as often as possible, but also looking for the best place to be using that bubble. Okay, that's gonna get our energy up higher, and we're gonna get a lot more tanking done. So look to use bubbles when you know that damage is coming in, and we'll be able to get a lot of value out of that. But we just really are using bubbles very sparingly, which just leads to us going through 2 minutes never peaking above like 40 energy. Right. And then on top of that, we are using right clicks very frequently, so we're just gonna leave there real quick. Go to training range. So right clicks don't want to be used all the time. Right clicks have some specific specific instances where you do use it, and that is one, when you're out of range of left click. Left click will have a lot more consistent damage, and I'm getting a lot more bang for your buck out of left click. So if someone is within range of left click, you should pretty much always be left clicking. Okay. Now if you're outside of that range, which is 15 meters, right? That's now we can shoot them. Now we can't, right? And if you don't see that you're getting value out of it, then back up a little bit. Or sorry, I'm missaid that, right? If you're not getting value out of left click, as you can see through your crosshair here, right? There's no white dots. Then we should be right clicking, because we're outside of left click distance. Okay. If we're within that left click distance, most of the time we're gonna want to be left clicking up until somebody's health bar gets low. Then we follow that up with a right click, and when we're close to them, we can even melee. And the reason why this is because we can burst down their health really far. Okay, we can do a lot of burst damage, especially the higher energy you are here. And when you're doing a burst damage, okay, that means that you're able to kill people faster. And when you kill people faster, they have less of a chance to get away, to get healed, to use tanking abilities. So we want to be able to kill things fast. So the only times we're using right click are when somebody's low and we're trying to burst them down, or when we're outside of range of left click. Every other time we should pretty much be left clicking. And we're and a lot of time we're just pretty much walking around going like this, right? We're just doing this the entire time, even when we're within this distance.
Now entering.
Okay. Gonna get back to where we were. Yep, something we can do with our own personal bubble is just push up a little bit so that we can kind of bait. One, we can create space by pushing forwards, right, and get some extra damage in. But then two, when we push forwards, right, we just like kind of walk forwards. We can bubble here, and now we're the one they're all looking at, right? We can walk forwards, and that way we can get more value out of our bubble and use our bubble to charge up some energy. So get a little bit more aggressive when you have your bubble available, because your bubble acts as a get out of jail free card. You can use it to back up, right? And then when you don't have bubble, then you play more passive, right? But here we're playing passive the whole time, even when we do have bubble, and we don't really ever end up using bubble until like really far into the fight, and that means we just stay low energy the whole time,
Get in there.
right? All right, like so we haven't used personal bubble once this fight yet. Haven't used it once,
Barrier activate.
and now we're using bubble, and it's not when anybody's shooting at us, right?
They have been revived.
Again, make sure bubbles are coming out when we know damage is coming in. That could be when a lot of people are looking at us, when we see projectiles coming in, when we know that something's coming in, right? But if nobody's looking at us, if it's a low damage hero, then that might be a situation where we just want to hold on to it for a few extra seconds.
Go. Give me your best shot. That's more like it.
Okay, here, bubble on the junk. Good bubble. Okay, he gets nanoed. Who is their whole team looking at?
Oh, the Junkrat.
Yep. So, if we bubble here, who's going to shoot at us?
Nobody.
Okay, exactly, right? We end up bubbling. We get like 3 shots on us, and that's probably just because they're missing the Junkrat, right? So make sure again, right? We're identifying here that our bubble's going somewhere and timed well for when we know they're gonna be taking damage. We know that we're not gonna be taking damage because nobody's looking at us, right? No damage is coming our way. Therefore, we shouldn't be looking to use it on ourselves at that time. Okay. Also, get aggressive here, right? You have your Junkrat push forward. You have Nano boost up, right? Push up with him because him being up on his own is just going to lead to him, dying. When we also had personal bubble there, we can get aggressive and just use bubble if we needed to get out.
Barrier is on.
Okay, don't hold down left click if the thing you're shooting at isn't there anymore, right? That way you're just conserving your ammo a little bit more. Or we can even use that time to reload. Good bubble. Right, you see 3 people looking at him. He got flashbang. Gonna take a lot of damage. That's the situation. Bubble's good.
Perseverance is the key.
Okay, so we end up winning that fight. Biggest things so far are gonna be bubble usage and aggression.
The power of
Okay, push up when you're using bubble. That way people actually shoot at you, right? They're not going to be shooting at us if Hog's in front of us. In that case, if Hog's in front of us, then we bubble the Hog, right? So whenever we're using personal bubble, push forwards. Take a little bit of extra space with it, right? Even if it's just pushing ahead of our Hog or ahead of our Junkrat, right? Now we're the person everyone's shooting at. So one, we're using it for tanking now, right? We're using it to tank for our team, soak up damage for them. And we're also using that to get extra damage, or sorry, extra energy from that. Because here we use bubble, but we're behind our whole team, right? And here we're using bubble on Hog when he's backing up, right? Which is fine because we do get energy out of that, which is good. But maybe think about using that in a situation like this, where Hog's now getting aggressive and pushing forwards, and that bubble might be a little bit more useful now because he does have an equal amount of people looking at him, but now he's in more danger, right? So we want to be looking, if at all possible, to be getting tanking value out of our bubbles, right? Because if we bubble our Hog here, we're getting much more tanking value than the bubble that we just used, because now Hog's in actual danger and he's actually going to die. Alright, so he ends up dying there. Here, they're about to cap, right? They're winning the fight. We either need to step on point or we need to back out and try to save our energy. Okay, they cap point, we need to back out and save our energy, right?
Don't go back. You're covered.
Yeah, that bubble was meant for Zen.
Hmm?
That bubble was meant for Zen.
Yeah, I saw it. Okay, here we wanted to be backing out a lot faster. We're kind of just poking and sitting around here. right? When we see that we're down a bunch of people. So we're down our hog, we're down our Junkrat because he just died. We can see this but through kill feed. Right? We're down our Zenyatta because he just died, right? So we're down 3 people currently. It's a 6v3. And we're trying, our goal here is probably to get out with energy, if at all possible. So either we need to be booking it and getting out, or we need to be running in and dying, because otherwise here we're just staggering ourselves. Okay, and what we do is we just kind of sit and poke here, right? We just chilling, and then they're gonna push forwards. They're gonna stagger the Ana, and now we're sitting and poking, and then we're gonna end up probably dying here. Yep. Right, and then now what I want you to do is look at how far behind our team we are when we come out of spawn. Okay, so we come out of spawn, and half of our team is all the way up here, right?
Yep.
So, 1, we wasted time there. 2, we didn't get out with energy. 3, now this opens up the possibility for our teammates to stagger, right? They could end up killing Reinhardt or even Tracer, right? And then that starts what's called a stagger train, right? So we're all staggering in succession of each other, right? We stagger, so that means that Reinhardt pushes forwards, and then he staggers, right? And that's never good to try to start. So if we can cut back on our staggering by whenever we see that a fight's won or lost, we either need to do one of 2 things, right? Get out or die, and we need to identify that the fight's lost and do one of those 2 things. Because the longer we wait and the longer we just kind of sit there, the longer we're staggering ourselves and the worse off we're going to be. Because then look at what they did. They killed a Reinhardt, right? And then now Reinhardt staggered himself, right? He did the exact same thing that you did, but this could have been that we could have helped prevent this by us not staggering, and then maybe we could have been up a lot closer to help him out. Right. The other thing that you can say here is communicate with your team and say, "Hey guys, back up, back up. You're down a bunch of people. Like we have 4 people still in spawn, right? That way, Tracer and Junkrat aren't going in here, even though they're down 4 people. So communicate with them, tell them that they're down people, not to push in, and then hopefully then they don't stagger. Okay. Probably wait to take the fight till you get your hog back. Okay, because what happened, or when you take a fight, when you are in, oh, actually wait, when you got the monkey, never mind, I forgot that you got the monkey, that's my bad. Where we were at, we're on Zarya. If it was a 6v5, then that wouldn't be a smart idea, but you're a 5v5 right now, so this is fine. Okay. Make energy your #1 priority when you're at 0 energy, because you can very, very obviously see the difference between 0 energy and like 70 energy. You're going to be able to do a lot more when you're high energy. So your energy needs to be kind of your highest priority when you have none. Right, like these are perfect opportunities that we can be using our bubbles for. Right, when we push up here, all we have to do is walk in front of our Junkrat bubble. They all are shooting at us. We get energy. Monkey Primals, he's jumping on us. We lose 200 HP here. That could be bubble energy, right? Mora starts coalescing us. We bubble. We soak up some of that energy, right? So we just have to be looking for those opportunities where we can be using our personal bubble for energy usage. Because right now we're constantly sitting at low energy. Like I said, we peaked, I think, at max, I think we peaked like 70 energy at the very end of a fight that we lost, right? And that's it. We're never getting high energy, and then that's going to be a leave a big impact. Like the difference right now between you and a Diamond Zarya or a Master Zarya or Grandmaster Zarya is that they're consistently going to have like average energies, even in bad games where their average energies are sitting like at 50, right? Right now, your average energy is probably sitting around like 20. Okay, good bubble, right? We're pushing forward, we're getting aggressive, we're getting that that energy, and then we're backing out. It might have been a little bit too far. Probably wanted to, instead of doing that, maybe sit at this corner, bubble, and then back up, right? Because the further up we're pushing here, the more dangerous it is for us. Keep in mind, as a tank, this is what's called no man's land. Okay, applies a lot of the time to like payload maps where there's long open, just it's like basically a street the whole way through, right? No man's land is any long stretch of space that acts kind of like a choke where there's no cover. So this whole area, if you're in the middle of this area, there's not really any cover for you to get behind. So therefore, if we're holding up here, right, that means that to back up, we have to back up through open area, right? So we never want to really put ourselves in a position like that if the rest of if we don't have all 6 of us holding there, because then we have to back up through an open area where they can shoot at us
Right.
from.
That's why I tried to back
Mhm.
out to the right and go around to that corner to try to break the sight line and
Yep.
give a little time to get my bubble back up before I crossed again.
Yep, exactly right. That's a good plan, right? But hopefully, probably we shouldn't have been up there in the first place, right? Because we can sit back here, get a very similar effect, but not nearly as dangerous.
Okay.
Ready for battle.
Good bubbles. Again, make sure that if we're bubbling ourselves there, that we're not walking behind 2 people, right? Use the bubble, be right here. Then when the bubble breaks, then back behind them, right? A lot of the time we're using our bubble and standing behind other people, like we're expecting them to, like the enemies to be able to shoot us through people, right? Okay, we're up 2 people. Play super aggressive. You can measure aggressiveness not just on your. There's a lot of different things that affect your aggression. One of them is going to be your bubble usage, but then another big one is going to be the kill feed and who's winning and losing the fight. You can very easily see who's winning and losing a fight through kill feed, right? Kill feed tells you who has been killed, who's up people, and the amount of people that are in a fight very heavily affects the outcome of the fight. So 1 to 2 people, if you guys get 1 to 2 picks, that is a very big advantage. You guys are winning the fight. Okay, you want to play more aggressive. When you have 2 to 3 picks, that's where it's pretty much a one fight, right? That means you don't want to use any more ultimates. You want to just play super aggressive, get those cleanup kills on them, because by that point, a 6v3 is a lost fight the majority of the time for the team that has 3 people. Okay, and it also goes the same way the opposite side, right? If the enemy team has a pick or 2, we're losing the fight. We didn't lose it yet though, right? That just means we want to play a little bit more passive, maybe wait till they get back, try to get some picks of our own, and then once they get 2 to 3 picks, that's when the fight's around lost, and we're looking to not use any more ults, and we're looking to get out or die. Right, so here we want to just be playing super aggro, right? When they only have 3 people alive, they can't very easily kill us. So we just want to get aggressive and clean up those kills, get the extra ult charge, burn time off the time bank by killing them. Here we're again, right, we're playing passive. Look how far back we're sitting. When right now we just want to be chasing the McCree down or chasing the monkey down over here. It's a 6v3, right? Or look at what this is, right? We have our entire team with us. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people here. They have 2 people alive, yet we're hiding from them.
Bring it. Get in there. That's more like it.
Okay, we have a grav pulse here. Make sure we're communicating that with the tracer, because if she ends up using that without your grav, then that's going to be a big waste. We end up getting a 2k tire, so we probably don't even want to use ults here.
I bet I do.
You bet you use your ult here?
Yeah, I bet I do soon enough. We'll see if I'm patient enough. Oh, I'm not going to use it until they're in a stupid spot.
Oh, that is unfortunate. Yep, so now we lost the fight. We need to, since we don't have any energy, and we might want to just die, but we might be able to get out here. I probably say that we want to start backing off. We can probably pick the monkey here and just back up with our hog, because of how far the monkey's up here. But we definitely want to be getting out here. You know, just keep backing, keep backing. No, no, no.
I think I stayed enough because I saw the Tracer and the
Mhm.
Hog.
Yep. The majority of the time, don't take a 6v3, like pretty much every time, right? Unless you absolutely need to, because it's like final fight, right? It's they're about to cap the overtime fight, right? When it's all the way there at the end, right? That's where you can contest without people. But here, when we could very easily come in for a 6v6, why contest when it's a 6v3 when that's such a significant disadvantage, right? We're gonna have half as many people as them with half as many ultimates, right? We're gonna be lagging so far behind here when we could just recontest with everyone.
Yeah,
And
I'm
then
pretty sure I die.
and then because us and Tracer stick in, we end up staggering, right? When we could have very easily gone out there, right? If we didn't push back in. So look to get out there, call it to your Tracer too, right? Say back up, guys, to regroup, get out, right? Or die, because that right now we just ended up staggering, and then now we might not even get a second fight for this point, whereas we definitely could have gotten a second fight for that point. Okay. Here it's a 4v6. Probably is not going to be worth going in. You probably just want to give it to them because, like we said, like you a two people down is not always a lost fight, but especially in the case where the fight hasn't even started yet. If the fight hasn't even started yet and you're down two people, that's pretty much lost. Um, because you're not even in position to do anything, right? You have to move through wide open area, right? Another no man's land area. There's no cover as you push up through this. They can spam you the whole way. Um, we're not in a good position to do anything, so this we probably don't want to use any ults. If we use any ults here, that's gonna be a big waste because watch if we use our like if we do end up using ults here, just watch how you'll probably end up losing.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I do use it.
Nope. Okay, maybe we don't because we do back up.
We should have turned around. That monkey was low.
And make sure you're watching health bars. Your 80 energy, make sure you're backing up faster. Like we constantly do this where like when we should be backing up, we kind of do a shuffle where we go forwards, backwards, forwards, backwards. So here we should be very obviously backing up. Look how many teammates we have here, right? It's just us and Hog alive versus their entire team. We should very, very obviously be backing up. Yet we kind of do a shuffle where we walk backwards, forwards, right? Then I think Monkey just kind of helps us get out here. Yeah.
Yeah. I was just trying to use the pillar for cover.
Yep, which is very good positioning there.
Until I could get people back.
Yep, good decisions. That's what you want to be doing here. Okay, now this is where we come back in. We have 6 ults. We probably don't want to use 6 ults. Alright, we could probably just get away with using Grav and Pulse, and then maybe if we need to, we can use like Tire or something like that. But they don't have anything to counter Grav Pulse. So if we use anything more than Grav Pulse, that's probably a waste. So communicate it with your team.
I don't think I didn't communicate it with Tracer. I know I use it up in here. This is when I use it, and I'm pretty sure I die trying to do the right click and punching, just trying to burst people that are in it. I'm pretty sure I die. Yep, I knew I would use it.
Okay, we have bubble there. We have bubble available there. Make sure you're using bubble. Keep in mind that nano boost does not make you invincible, right? They also have a damage boost, or they have a mercy valk and a bongo, right? So in this situation, maybe just look to use the cart as cover, burn down the shield really fast, or even turn around and focus the monkey on the side, right? There's only one Orisa in the Grav. Don't kind of feed for it here, so play it a little bit more passive. This is a situation where a lot of the time I've been telling you to go, be more aggressive, but in this situation, this is where we need to identify this is where we should not be playing aggressive because they have way too much damage, right? There's too many people looking at us, too many ults being used on their side. Play passive, look to just poke them out with the nano because look how fast we get melted.
Yep.
On top of that bubble usage, it stinks that Tracer did end up dying there. Right, like those right clicks where they're just like right next to you, right? There's like the right clicks where you just want to swap to left clicks. Alright, this looks like they're just staggering in. We'll probably clean this up fairly fast. Yeah, okay. Unless they start to frag. Now, okay, we got it.
I'm pretty sure I end up playing much more aggressive on the attack than what I did on the defense. I think more after we capture the first point. I don't think I played too aggressive before, but I think I get a lot more afterwards. I know we end up winning this one.
All right. So let's see what happens.
That was me testing my range.
Yep.
Practicing my beam range, because that's something that I didn't really have very good awareness. I thought it went about 5 feet farther than what it does.
Yep, it is 15 meters, so just you can see that based off of the little white arrows when you're shooting at something, and you can hear when you're shooting at something too. When you're not shooting anything, that's a different sound.
Gotcha.
So here, when we're shooting at something in a second here, you see the white little bars next to your crosshair. Or you see that? Yep.
Yep.
That's how you can tell when you're actually shooting at something. When you're not
I wasn't
shooting,
really paying attention to those.
I am healed.
Oh, I should have went in. I could have taken her.
Yep, or at least just play more aggressive when we had our bubble up. Okay, good reload, good bubble, right? That we know the Reaper does very high damage close range. We know Reaper's shooting at him. That's a great bubble. Whenever you have a lull in time, always use that to reload, right? So when we're looking to rotate back here, we should be reloading our ammo, right? Right about here, right? This is where we're just reloading so that we have it when we re-peak. Right, this is just a range where we should be left clicking because that's very, very within range. So we can go for those left clicks and we'll be doing more consistent damage than the right clicks will be doing.
Yeah, at this point we took Mercy. Felt pretty strong we're going to take them.
Yep. I think you also got a second person, right? You had 2 people. So we are up 2. We can play pretty aggressive here, right? This is almost a one fight. As long as we're just playing a little bit more aggressive, clean up, like the low Orisa here. Right? We pretty much have this one at this point, right? This is where we're probably calling... Don't want to use too many morals, so as long as we get picks. They get our... they get 2 picks here, so now they are fragging back a little bit, so we just have to be careful. Look behind you, right? If we're paying attention to kill feed, we see that a Moira and the monkey killed 2 people. Now, I'm going, where the heck's the Moira? Where's the monkey? I don't see him, right? So we need to look behind us, right? Because Moira's right next to us. I don't know where monkey went. Where the heck is monkey at? Did he die? Oh, he did die. Okay. Yeah, so I'm going, like, where the heck's Moira? Because we see Moira just got Mercy. So we need to be looking around, right? Being aware of what's going on around us.
Get in there. Maximum charge.
Very nice. So you can just see how much more you can do with 86 energy than you can with 20 energy, right? You can just feel it. You're killing things like 3 times faster. You get more ult charge, right? You're gonna just be doing more when you're higher energy. So that's really why bubbles matter so much. Okay, so we get an opening pick here. We're looking to use our grav. We should be able to get a decent amount of people because they should be like grouped up, right? If we look over here, oh, actually, they don't even have their whole team back yet. So we can probably play super aggro here. I don't know when they lost so many people, but they only have 2 people alive on point, right? So we probably just want to play super aggro, go in fast here, clean up these people in cart. We have 90 energy. Probably grab them. Too. Yep.
Yeah,
Very
I
nice.
think
Yeah.
I tried.
No, that was a good grab.
That's the power of attraction.
Yeah, we're very right click spammy. And just get with, you want to get a little bit more aggressive, get within that left click range, just because left click's going to be a lot easier to do damage with and melt people with.
No one can hide from my sight.
Right? Because like you can even see here, like look at the difference between us sitting back here and going and shooting at people. 1, 2, 3, okay, 4, 5, 5 right clicks right in a row, and really no damage, no kills, and then we just left click for a second and get a kill, right? It's just a lot easier to get consistent damage out of the left clicks.
Alliance is at hand.
60 seconds remaining. Get here. Give me your best shot. Get in there. Objective A captured. Escort the payload. Barrier activated.
Okay, we got a pick. We can play more aggressive. We got 2 picks. We play insanely aggressive. Right, we just want to be pushing up right now. Just playing a little bit back here, right? Instead of poking it like right here, be up at the corner, right? Corners, want to play in corners those tanks because we can use these for cover, right? It's better than being out here because good positioning is the usage of cover, whereas bad positioning is the absence of cover. Okay? Us being here isn't good for us because we have to, when we start taking damage, we're a long way away from cover, but we can play on these corners and very easily be able to go, oh, they just shot me, I'm low. I go like this, and then it takes half a second to just go boop, and now we're behind cover, right? So just be looking to play up on this cover. We're constantly playing like really far away when we should be playing on a Zarya. We're playing a long range. We're playing Zarya like she's a long range character when Zarya is a mid range character. She's looking to play at a mid range. And looking to back up right now, they just use 3 ults. This is where we're looking to play more passive unless our team starts using ultimates to counter. Right now we've used Beat and Nano, so now we're playing aggressive back into them.
Barriers on me. Is that all you got?
Hey, good job, we got the monkey. How many people do they have alive? Okay, they have a bunch of people behind us. Okay, so we are up 1 currently. So we have a slight advantage.
Ready for battle.
They got a pick, we're even.
Almost got Lucio.
Yep. Nice, okay, so we just got 2 more, so now we're up 2, I believe. It's like a 3v5.
Огонь по готовности. Best shot.
So that is a decent grab, I think, in other circumstances. The reason why I wouldn't go for this grab is because I think that we can very easily get these kills without the grab. I don't know if you agree with me here, but they only have a couple people alive. Actually, never mind. I did not see that we still had people walking back and that the Sombra was still alive. So yeah, I guess looking at the fight, I guess from more of an outside view here, that is a fair grab. Though if they had less people alive and we had more people alive, then that's a situation where we probably just want to clean that up normally rather than with a grab. But in this situation, that's fine because we do get the triple kill, and that's gonna pretty much guarantee that we get the point in. So that is very good for us. So just to be clear, I'm retracting the statement. That was a good grab. Okay, good bubble, right? Okay, so this is exactly what I'm talking about, right? We push forward, we take space, we play on the corner, we push forward, bubble, get all that juicy energy, tank for our team, and then we just back up when the bubble's gone. That's exactly what you want to look for with your bubbles. And then we proceed to back behind our entire team, right? Make sure your tank, make sure you're pretty much like right where your diva's at, right? You want to be the one in the front line. Even if you don't want to, if you don't have a main tank, right? You don't want to be all the way in the front to where you're standing where you were. You don't want to be standing here the entire time, but you want to be decently in the front to where you're ahead of your whole team, right? We can be hugging around cart here, using this as cover, right? But we don't want to be playing sniper or Zarya.
Get in there. Fall in with me. Go. Ready for battle. Barriers on you. Go.
Very good bubble.
Barriers on you.
Good bubbles. Sorry, bubbles have been a little bit... Oh, whoops, I didn't mean to skip there. Bubbles have been a little bit better this round than our last round because we're constantly a lot higher energy. And you can just kind of very, very visually see the difference in how much we're doing based off of that simple fact. So if we can look to get those bubbles up consistently and make sure that we're high energy consistently, then we'll be able to be winning a lot more, and we'll be able to be getting this same value in our future games, right? Here we're very taking a very
Overly
wide
aggressive.
angle. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
The big thing I want you to look at is how far away you are from cover. Okay.
Yeah.
We're not next to cover, therefore when they start shooting at us, we don't have anywhere to go, right? Whereas if we're standing over here, if they start shooting at us, oh, we go bloop, and now they can't see us. Okay, so make sure you're standing next to cover, and then we have the option to use it to get away. But good job using your bubble to get you out of that situation. Look to use that, but once we get up to the super high energy standard, okay, once we get up to here, right, where we're 95, okay, is that 5 energy gonna really make a difference for you?
No.
Okay, so therefore, pretty much all of our bubbles from here on out, and probably above, like when you get above like 70 energy, okay, all bubbles should be looking for exclusively tanking purposes, right? Because we're so high energy, like 70 plus, we should be looking for our bubbles when somebody's low, when somebody needs it for the tanking, right? When an ult's being used. Whenever we're using bubbles like that, you'll also find on top that you're going to be getting energy out them anyways, right? So we can think through a few different examples of this. Like, let's say somebody gets charged, you bubble them, it saves their life from dying, and you get a ton of energy from it. Somebody gets hooked, you bubble them, you save their life, you get a bunch of energy from it. Somebody gets pulse bombed, okay, you bubble them, you save their life, you get a bunch of energy from it, right? I can go on and on and on, but those are just a few examples. But you'll find that when we're using our bubbles for good tanking purposes, a lot of the time we're also going to get a good energy from it because tanking is needed when damage is coming in, and when damage is coming in, we get energy out of that. So look to use your bubbles for tanking purposes all the time, but especially once you're high energy. Because this bubble right here, Diva's not low, no one's using abilities on Diva, no ultimate's being used on Diva, and she wasn't really in the fight yet. So that bubble, yes, it does get us up to 100 energy, but doesn't really, it's still not a good bubble. Okay, you got that nano. Yep, play super aggro. Good job. Very nice. Good game. Okay. So we do have 13 minutes left. I think you do you want to just go over that other replay?
Yeah, because we got steamrolled, and I have like zero idea why we got stomped so bad. And you know what? It was the first round. It was a Bastion just smoked us.
So the reason why, first off, like I chose to go with I saw your message and I chose to go with the first one is because steamrolls aren't typically the best learning experience because more often than not, steamrolls like there's other things included in the loss than it just being something you can work on. Like for
Yeah.
example, not gonna lie to you as a coach here, sometimes your team is just bad, right? Though
Yeah.
that isn't an excuse to now be focusing on your team because you can't control your team, right? You can't change your team. You can change yourself though. So you even if your team is bad, you can focus on yourself. But there are going to be games that you do lose because you had a thrower. There are going to be games that you lose because you had some bad players, right? So if games are absolutely steamrolls, there are sometimes just other reasons behind that. And on top of that, you could have just been also not be playing your best, right? If you're not playing your best, then sometimes that just happens where you get rolled because you're not feeling great. And in those cases, you probably should just stop playing, take a little bit of a break. But it's not going to be the best to review because it's mistakes that you wouldn't often be making. I don't know if that's the case in this one. That is often the
This
case in others.
they won so fast, and this is the game I played right before the win that we watched.
Yep. So we'll see. Just because because we don't we ran out of time for the other one, so we'll hopefully we can get a little bit out of this one. So yeah, let's look at comps real quick. We have a Orisa Zarya. First off, so what were the characters that you said you played?
Um, the next one I like to play is Reinhardt, but I do play Roadhog too.
Okay, so
And maybe I should have played Roadhog here with the Orisa because I realize Orisa and Sigma are not necessarily the best combos with the Zarya.
yes, exactly right. That's exactly what I was about to say. Roadhog is probably going to be a better combo here because of the fact that Orisa just isn't a good bubble target because she has no reason to go in front of her shield, right?
Yeah.
And then that shield's going to be soaking up a lot of your just potential bubble, tanking and energy charge, right? So we're not going to get a ton of energy off of an Orisa a lot of the time. So Roadhog might be a lot better of a combo with her because on top of that, we can also go for halt hook combos.
I picked Zarya entirely to make sure I had Zarya videos for me and you to go over.
All right.
Because that's who I wanted to focus on. But yeah, it was definitely would have been a much smarter pick.
Okay, well then let's go off of this as if we've already once we make mistakes, it's done and over with. We have to focus on how to fix them or what what can we do from now on. So we're on Zarya. Right now we're running a little bit of a very spammy / brawly comp, right? Again, a little bit of a hybrid. You're gonna find hybrid comps a lot in ranked where it's just a little bit of everything. Zenyatta's a spam character, Riss is a spam character, Soldier's a spam character, Zarya is a brawl character, Moore is a brawl character, Genji is a little bit of everything. So on their team, they are also running a very, very weird composition. Okay, they have Lucio who can be a little bit of a dive here with they're running I think mainly a dive comp, but they also have a little bit of a Bastion Ryan in there, which is a little bit weird. But Ana can be dive. The hog. That's not a hog. The ball here, which is a dive. Genji's dive. Lucio can be a dive here, but he can also taxi around the Bastion, Ana, and Reinhardt. So they're running both teams are running a little bit of a wacky comp. Here we're gonna be looking to just get high energy off of mainly looking to get high energy off of the Bastion and then just avoid him while we focus on the other people, because the Genji and the Lucio, for example, are probably going to be a little bit easier of targets to kill as a Zarya here than the Bastion is going to be, who's being pocketed by Ana and with Reinhardt, right? Because Lucio, we can probably catch him out of position if he's trying to wall right around us, and same thing with Genji, right? Genji is pretty easy target to burst down on Zarya because he can't deflect their shots, and he's pretty easy to track when he's just jumping around. Okay, so we're starting off the fight, very high energy. That's very good for us. Okay, that's exactly what we want to be doing with our first bubbles. Because
Yeah, that's what happened. I peeked around the corner and was like, oh, well, I guess we're playing a Bastion.
okay, so they end up getting a pick right away, which is not good for us. Right here, we probably want to be taking right now we're just kind of chilling a little too much. Preferably we should be looking to maybe rotate around and get closer to the Bastion. So something we can do is maybe just as a team, just, do this, right, and go through cover, right? Bastion can't shoot at us the whole time we're in here. And then by the time
I think I end up going through that tunnel by myself, trying to push closer to the Bastion.
Which, just keep in mind, if he's being pocketed by the Ana or has his Reinhardt with him, we're probably not going to be able to kill Bastion by ourselves. So what we can do is just call for our team, hey, team, go left, right? And that way they're coming with us, because it might be very, very difficult for us to solo kill the Bastion. Especially if we're on like a character like Roadhog, it might be a little bit easier, but on Zarya, not going to be as easy because we're not as much of a duelist as Roadhog is. But yeah, if we basically just pop out there right on top of him. But yeah, the Bastion really is a surprise pick. That's the big thing behind this, is like here the Bastion is thriving off of the fact that you guys have absolutely no clue what to do, right? You guys are clueless because this is the first fight. You guys are adapting. This is why identifying the differences in compositions is so important, because you guys are going to be playing a completely different play style if you're going up against this Bastion versus if you're going up against, like, let's say, like, they're just on another DPS like Tracer, right? You guys have a completely different play style, which means that we need to identify what comp the enemy is on very fast and come up with a plan against it fast, right? So there's either one of two ways to go here, right? Bastion is their carry. There's no way around. Or like whenever they have like something like a Bastion or a Pharah, the super high damage output character is the carry. If Bastion's left uncontested here, he carries the game. So there's one of two ways that we can go about this. Either we completely focus him, or we do the opposite and we ignore him, play around cover so that he can't shoot us, and focus on everybody else, right? Just basically try to negate his value by playing away from him and take out the easy characters like Lucio and Genji, right? So we have to pick one of those two play styles, and if we're doing anything in between, then we're not really gonna be able to win this. Here, fight's already lost. We just lost everybody. No reason to use bubbles because we're just delaying time. We're obviously not gonna be able to get out with energy, right? There's 3 people looking at us in the direction of our spawn. So here we just want to die as fast as possible. Us using bubble here isn't good on either us or the Orisa, because then we're just wasting time, right? So this is where we're telling your team, back up, group up. Okay, so we swapped over to the ball. I'm gonna look the ball, and he slams in on the enemy team. Alright, good, easy kill. Okay, bubbling ball after he rolls away out of behind cover, right? Then we're also not using bubble to get energy off the Bastion, which is something that I would probably be doing here. Right, all we have to do is just peek here, wait, stand here for a second until Bastion starts shooting at us, bubble, and then back off, right? And then we get a high energy, right? Remember, number one thing we're looking for to start off fights here is high energy, because we can't do anything with low energy. Okay, by now fight has been lost. We're regrouping. This is where I'd be considering swapping, right? We started off on Zarya. Maybe we want to go like Hog or something like that, because we might get more value out of hulking the Bastion out of his sentry form. Good energy. Good bubbles there. Because we'll have those bubbles by the time the fight, like we get back to the fight, right?
Tactical visor activated.
Oh yeah, I remember this. Gotta
Unfortunate.
hate Hammond.
Yep.
Hammond made me look like an idiot on the next round too, quite often.
The big thing is when we know that they have boops. This is a super common thing, right? I hold pugs every Sunday. And while if you're unaware of what pugs means, that's pickup games. So we just get a bunch of random people in and play some 6-on-6, right? Just have a little bit of fun. While we're waiting for people to join up, we play deathmatch, and very consistently, I'll play Lucio just to wall ride around, have some fun, right? And people at lower ranks are just easier to boop because they walk near the edge, right? It's a very I guess obvious thing that people just kind of ignore. That if you're trying not to get booped, don't walk near the edge, right? As Zarya, we don't have a reason to walk near the edge. There's no way that we can get boops ourselves. So us walking near the edge is just asking to get booped. So if we can just stay away from the edge, right, a distance to where we can't get booped, then we'll pretty much never get booped, and that's not really an option to get booped, right? So just look to stay away from the edge if at all possible, so that that's not happening.
Well, you're gonna see me get booped like 3 times in this round, and I finally learned to start going more towards the middle.
Yep.
And stay far away from that edge. But it took me a while, and I don't understand why it took me so long to learn it. I don't know.
Which now we have learned this, right? You've learned it through your own gameplay experience and through me telling you. So now we can that's the first step to self-improvement, right? Is identifying mistakes. Self-improvement is a 3-step process. First off, we need to identify the mistake, which we have here, right? The mistake is that we walk near the edge, right? And then that results in us dying. And now we have to come up with a solution to that, and the solution is instead of, or a kind of a alternative, right? What are we doing instead of that? Our alternative is, instead of walking near the edge, we take different pathing and walk closer to the inside, right? So maybe instead of coming out here, when we know that they have a Lucio and a ball, we can come through here, right? It's a very subtle difference, but it's going to mean that we're dying a lot less than if we were near the edge. So we and then once we come up with that solution, we can think of of how we can apply that, right? Some of them are gonna have kind of application, some of them aren't. The big one here is that we're just going to make sure we're concentrating on it and we're thinking about it as we're playing, right? Don't just autopilot in your games. Think about how you can be applying that in your next game when you're on the same exact map. You can think, okay, last time I walked near the edge, this time I'm not going to walk near the edge, and then we're dying a lot less than we did before.
Yeah, it took me till the end of this game to realize it.
Yep, but only through losses can we, fix things and figure out what we can improve on. So even if this was a loss, we did learn something valuable, which is just stay away from the edge, right?
Yeah. Yes.
All right, so that does wrap up the time that we have for this session. I'm going to end the recording here.